Management. Laila, always great having you with us. It was surprising to me that even last week, when we continued to hear about these regulatory crackdowns on different Chinese sectors, Chinese ETFs kept seeing inflows. Is this a buying opportunity for long-term investors?
We think certainly this regulatory environment is going to have to change and get better before we see a lot more buying. But for long-term investors, there's certainly opportunity. These are great companies, and they're going to survive this.
So where does this put, say, recovery stocks against those large growth stocks? Because now we have also Delta variants spreading.
Well, there's a lot of concerns. We think the Delta variant is not going to stop the recovery. It's just going to delay it. There's certainly some people are slowing down some of the travel and some of the spending. We're seeing it around here. People are certainly a bit more worried, but it's not going to eliminate it, which really is maybe an opportunity for these recovery stocks, because they had gone up so much in the beginning of the year, thinking the recovery will come a lot faster and that COVID was over. Well, turns out it's not over so quickly. And we do have this variant, so it's slowing down, and it's maybe an opportunity for some of the recovery stocks for people to get in now before things get back to normal sometime in the next few months or maybe next year.
That is the uncertainty when it comes to the roadmap, right? Are there opportunities in a potential reassessment of what the inflation outlook will be from here?
We think the Federal Reserve is definitely is going to live with a lot more inflation. They've wanted inflation, and they're finally getting it, and they don't want to derail the recovery. They're more interested in having the recovery last. And if they do anything to stop the inflation by increasing interest rates, it's not what they want. So they've already basically talked about living with a lot more inflation for the next year or so. We don't think they're going to do anything with interest rate till 2023. And we don't think they're going to even begin tapering till toward the end of 2022. So they're going to live with more inflation.
Tell us about your e-commerce. Right. So, and of course that, linking through to consumer confidence and consumer trends as well. There was a bit of a blip with the Amazon earnings, some concerns that the sort of pandemic peak buying has passed, right? What are the trends that really inform your constructive position when it comes to e-commerce?
Well, e-commerce, we're still, the U.S. is still 14% of all sales are only done through e-commerce. Compared to China, which 25% of sales are e-commerce. We have a long ways to go before a true slowdown. We certainly had a big bump because of COVID and the lockdowns, but we don't think it's going away. And we do think there's tremendous growth potential for e-commerce, and we're still quite bullish on that area.
Laila, how do you feel about some of those stocks and sectors that are related to the infrastructure bill, given the huge numbers now that we're hearing from Congress and the White House?
Yeah, this is something we've needed. They've talked about an infrastructure bill for years, and we are so excited to finally have one, because our roads, our airports, and so forth, it is a much needed money that needs to be spent on this infrastructure. We estimate there's going to be around $2 trillion of spending on e-commerce within the next 10 years, which is needed. And so we do think, although they've written, the stocks have definitely been doing well recently because of the upcoming money that's going to be spent. However, we do think there's tremendous more spending that's coming, and it's a good area for some funds for sure.
Laila Pence, President of Pence Wealth Management, and you can get more on the markets and a roundup of the stories you need to know to get your